It's time for a new adventure.
Welcome back to another episode of Adventures in Business. This is your co-host Amy Zander with ZD Media, and as always, I'm here with the lovely Lisa Fisher. How you doing, Lisa?
I'm doing great, Amy. How are you?
I'm good. What you been doing around town?
Oh my goodness. I went to Spare Time Entertainment Center. I can't believe how much that place has changed over the years. And they have putt-putt golf, they've got the escape rooms, the arcade. They got awesome place if you wanted to host a meeting there, food, everything. It was just really fun. I hadn't been there in years, so it was nice to stop by. How about you? What have you been doing?
Well, I went down to Old Town last Saturday for Pride Fest. That was cool. They had like hundreds of vendors, so many up and down Turner Street. That was really cool. Good music, entertainment, things like that. So it was definitely really good people watching. So did that. That was fun.
Good.
So yeah, what about you, Melissa? Have you done anything around town that was been fun?
Well, I'd like to say I did, but this weekend was my son's open house he graduated from high school. So my entire week through the weekend was spent doing that. I would have loved to have gone to Pride Fest. That looked like an awesome event. But yeah, that's what my weekend consisted of.
Yeah, but now you got it behind you.
I have it behind me.
Yeah.
Now I can do all the things that I need to do.
Right. Well, there you go. Yeah. So
Congrats.
Congrats on your getting somebody through the high school. Whew.
1 down, 2 to go.
All right. So, well, speaking of things to do around town, we have an amazing person on our show today to talk about all the cool things that's going on in Lansing, and I will let Lisa formally introduce our guest.
Well, welcome, Melissa Ney. Melissa is the Membership and Community Outreach Manager with Choose Lansing. She joined Choose Lansing in September of 2018, and she is responsible for all 600 plus Love Lansing hotel, attraction, restaurant, hospitality business members. Choose Lansing interacts with these folks on a daily basis, and she's super busy. Not only does she do that, she also teaches the Certified Tourism Ambassador Program and runs the community relations outreach through Choose Lansing. She's been an active member in the Lansing community for many years, serving on numerous boards and committees. Impression 5 Science Center is one of them, along with the Delta Waverly Rotary Club as president-elect and University Club of MSU, amongst many other things. She's a busy woman, but she resides in Mason with her husband, Dr. Andrew Ney, a professor at MSU, her 3 boys, Lucas, congrats, Lucas, for graduating, Brandon, and Alexander. So welcome to the show, Melissa. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. It's a little rainy out in the outside road, but it's nice and dry inside.
Well, thank you for making time to be with us today and letting our listeners know all about Choose Lansing and what is happening in the community. So why don't you go ahead and start by sharing a little bit with what is Choose Lansing?
So Choose Lansing is essentially the tourism arm of the Greater Lansing region. So we help support the visitors that come to our region on a regular basis. That equates to, now these are pre-COVID numbers, so bear with them, but 5.3 million visitors, bringing $682 million in economic impact. So it's a lot of people that are coming here and spending a lot of money in our area. So we want to make sure that when they are coming here, they're having the best time they can ever possibly have, and then turn around, go home and tell all their friends what a great time they had in the Love Lansing and come back each and every year. But for the most part, what the staff in our office is doing is working with the different meetings, conventions, sporting events that happen in our region and getting them set up in our hotels, getting them set up with catering if they need them, meeting venues, and having them stay in our hotels, because the hotel funding that they get, there's a 5% bed tax that everybody receives when they stay in a hotel. That's what actually funds us. So we're about $6.9, almost $7 million in revenue that comes in through that. So we're taking that money and turning it around and promoting this region outside of the area.
And I think that's so important, not just for our listeners that are business owners, but for our community as a whole, right? They're just getting people here because Amy and I get all the time. What's there to do in Lansing? There is so much to do in our region. It is just phenomenal. And I think bringing in outside events, sporting events, just enhances all there is to do here. And it's a great space for people to have businesses. So, what has been one of your favorite events that you have brought to this area?
Really like all of it. So last year we had an event that we brought in, and it was the National Horseshoe Pitchers Association's World Championships. They were here around this time last year, brought 900, just under 1,000 horseshoe pitchers, which, like who knew that there's a horseshoe pitcher and there's a national world competition? I mean, it brought people from all over the world. Like there was a guy that was walking down the street. He was from Norway. There were people from Africa, and it was at the Lansing Center. And they loved their experience here so much. They were here for almost 3 weeks, throwing horseshoe at the Lansing Center, and they had the best time here. They actually want to come back, and that's typically a event that only goes to different locations each year and doesn't ever want to go back to the same location because they want to try different places. And they actually requested us to bid on it again. So that's a huge bonus for our region right there, to just give a testament of how great this area is. These are a bunch of horseshoe pitchers from all over the world coming to Lansing, Michigan, and they had a great time. Another event that we do have coming up that I love being out there. So we have down in Mason, it's the MTA, it's the Michigan Trap Shoot Association, and it is one of the largest, the fourth largest in the country. And we host the high school national clay target championships. And those are going to be July 10th through the 14th down at the MTA grounds. And that brings 3,000 athletes from all over the country, so continental United States, to the Mason area. And I mean, that's a lot of people that are coming in. And if you think about it, we don't even really have a clay pigeon shooting team in the local area. They just started one in Williamston, and it just started, so they didn't qualify for the national. So it's not people from this area. It's from all over the area. And they stay in at our hotels and campgrounds and looking for things to do. And we'll be flooding up our attractions, hopefully. So that's right after the 4th of July. And we do a lot of events out at the Trap Shoot. So, and they're fun, nice, respectable teenagers that come and do shooting sports. So we love having them in town. And so do our hotels.
I love that picture you just printed of the teenagers, because so much we get they get a bad rap every now and again, but to hear how you just described them is phenomenal, because it's true. They're a great group of people. Mm-hmm. So you talked about the region. How big, right? What is the territory that Choose Lansing covers?
So our name is Choose Lansing, but Lansing as the region, we cover the entire Tri-County region. So it's Clinton, Eaton, and Ingham County. We will promote attractions and restaurants and different things in those 3 counties. We do have a sliver of Eaton County. There's a couple hotels in Charlotte that do not operate with a bed tax that comes towards us. So, we don't necessarily promote people to stay at those hotels. We don't tell them not to, but that's why we don't do a lot with the Charlotte area, just because that area doesn't have that hotel part of it. But every other hotel, we have over 40 plus hotels. I forgot to look. We have over 2 million room nights in the Greater Lansing region. So that's what we're promoting, is those 2 million room nights, to get people to stay in those. We'd love to have them filled every single day of every single night, but that's just not even, I don't know if that's possible. It could be, maybe if we were in Vegas. But we see about a 53% hotel occupancy throughout the year. That's what we had last year. And we were that way 2 years ago as well. But we're getting a lot of hotels that are opening. If anybody has been in this area, can see, like, since the pandemic, we've opened 6 hotels. So we're kind of exploding in the hotel scene, and just in general with all the different things that are coming and popping up in this region, which is good. It's making it even more fun for people to be here.
I love it. So, and even to see that growth post-COVID, like you said, the numbers that you had given us was pre, but knowing that there's growth and opportunity is very encouraging. What are you looking forward to the most post-COVID in our Choose Lansing hospitality industry?
I, I'm really looking forward to some of the transition that's going to happen in downtown Lansing here. There's a lot of talk of a lot of great, cool things that are come. And, we are a capital region and the capital is in our downtown. So the bulk of what is happening should be in our downtown region. And when the state workers decided they were going to be staying at home, downtown is not as fun and vibrant as it used to be pre-COVID. So there's a lot of things happening with a large apartment complex with 500 apartments being built downtown. We've got Ovation, which is a performing arts center that's going to be built here soon. Hopefully within the next 18 months, that'll be up and running, a 2,100 person performing arts center that we can bring some larger concerts and different types of events down here. We've got Great Wall Hall. I screwed that name up. Great Wall Hall at 224. That concert venue opened up last year and is bringing some shows in, but it's a 900 capacity standing room only theater to something if they're sitting down, not bringing huge shows. So we can get some of the bigger shows with the Ovation opening up. And then we've got the Makata Club that should be opening up soon. Early next year is what they're saying. And that's going to be an incubator food kitchen in the Knapp building. And that's going to be a cool addition to having downtown and get some more dining options and bring that nightlife back. Because I think that's one thing people talk about with downtown Lansing is it's dead after 5 o'clock. And I mean, it's kind of true. So down on Washington Square, it is a little bit more alive when you come down by where we are, because our office is right across the street from where the Lugnuts play. It's Jackson Field. And with the Lansing Shuffle and some of the bars and restaurants that have opened up on this end of the street, it is more bustling down here, which is good. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, is just see the transition and the change with that.
Very good.
So for businesses that are in the area here, they can become a member of Choose Lansing, correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about the membership and how to apply and what they get?
Yeah, so membership, we're a 501c6 nonprofit, just like chambers of commerce and other members that have that membership component tied to them. A lot of people confuse us with the Lansing Chamber of Commerce, because if you go to some other cities, pretty much every city has a Convention and Visitors Bureau and they have a chamber in. But some areas that are maybe a little smaller or not as sophisticated as we are have it as one entity. It's like their chamber and they're together. We are separated. They're actually upstairs from us, but so we get confused a lot. And we have the membership, but our main source of funding isn't coming from members like a Chamber of Commerce. Our main source of funding is coming from people staying in the hotels. So we really have a very inexpensive membership cost tied to us, because we want people to afford it and we want them to be members of us, because that way we can promote them. And we are also not, like, is a tourist coming to the area to go to Hager Fox Heating and Cooling? Probably not. So those types of members we don't usually get. It's going to be your attractions, your restaurants, your hotels. Every hotel wants to be a member of our organization because they get leads from us, from the different people that are calling, wanting to host conventions and sporting events in the area. And then restaurants and for catering and attractions for things to do in outside the times that they're in their whatever sporting event or conference that they're at. With us, membership starts at $125, and then it goes up based on the type of business you are. So hotels pay the most because they get the most benefit from being a member from us with the leads. And then larger corporations with multiple locations pay a little bit more. All restaurants start at $125. But having a restaurant in any area is not an easy business to be in. And it's, influx of cash flows like this. Right. So $125 for the year. It gets them a controllable listing on our website, both lansing.org and lansingsports.org. 2 different websites, a controllable listing for those. And it helps them raise their levels when it comes to SEO, because it's that controllable link that Google Analytics looks for. So that in and of itself for most smaller businesses is worth their $125 investment.
Yeah.
But then they also get other perks, like we have events, we do mixers, I've been doing trainings this year and really focusing on making sure that our hospitality members are well informed when crises happen. So we've been paying for active shooter preparedness training for the members, as well as basic first aid. So the basic first aid is not getting them a certificate, but it's just a 2-hour class to be like, I see someone's over here and I don't know what's going on with them. How can I help them? So those have been all this year, and then I'll probably stick those to once a year next year, but a lot of people have taken advantage of those. We have an annual meeting every year that we host mixers. The next mixer that I have for my members is going to be at the Graduate Rock Bar in East Lansing up on the rooftop in July. So excited for that, because believe it or not, there's still a lot of people that have not been up in that area. And if you have not been up on the rooftop bar of the Graduate, everybody should go up there, because it's the best views of Michigan State University you will get anywhere in the area.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that's
I concur.
yeah. Membership is affordable with us, but it's not for everyone.
Yeah. So can you talk a little bit about some of the businesses that are members that people might not initially think of? Like I have a friend who's a massage therapist, and I know that she's a member, because sometimes when people come into town, they want to get a massage or things like that. So can you, just so our listeners who might be thinking about joining can get an idea?
Yeah. Yeah. So Creative Wellness is a member because, we work with, from the business side, we work with a lot of state associations, government associations, larger businesses in the area that host meetings, and we want them to host them here. And a lot of times they're also looking for team building activities and things that they can do with their team to make them feel special. So ALT Printing is one that's a member of us. They're over in Old Town, and they print shirts, and you can actually do print parties at their location too. So we can use them to have shirts printed for us, but also have a fun little activity with them that is very much a cool thing to do that you can't really do anywhere else. Some other ones that are members of us. So I'm sure you guys all know Paul from Unadus Multimedia.
Yeah.
He will talk so much great things about us because he is a member, and he comes to, we have an event that's for, it's a celebratory event for anybody that's planned a meeting, convention, or sporting event that you can come to if you're a member. It's called our annual holiday showcase event. And it brings all of Lansing into one room for these meeting planners, so that when they're hosting their convention next year, they need videography for someone to record a keynote speaker or record an intro or record the event. Paul has gotten so much business out of us that he's like, I will never get rid of this membership. This is
right.
something I ever made.
Yeah, that's a great showcase, that holiday showcase. I've been to that. The food is amazing, for one thing. And then it's a lot of big players in the Lansing area all in one room. It's great.
Yeah. And then some other, we've got the promotional product places are members of us. Anybody that is interested in getting to the meeting planners that we have in the region, as well as visitors that come to the region. So, I do have a roofing company that's a member. We'll see if they stay on. He just wanted to help support hospitality during the pandemic. Like, typically not someone you would want to be a member, but he just wanted to give some money to support. He likes coming to the networking events because we do have mixers and some of the trainings. So, that's probably the most offshoot. Shaheen Chevrolet is also a member with us, purely because they're right off the highway, and people drive through on a regular basis, get a flat tire, or have some sort of issue with their car, and where am I going to take it? They can take Shaheen because it's right off the highway, and they want you to come there. So.
Very cool. Lots of this for people that are not familiar with Choose Lansing. You do so much in the community for our businesses, as well as for the community themselves. Now, at one point, there was a passport program, I believe. It was like a Love Lansing passport. Is that something?
Well, so we used to do, we get this question all the time. I know where you're going with this. So be a tourist in your own town. That was an event that we had hosted for 27 years. And during the pandemic, we kind of looked at that event and really wanted to make sure, that it was one day where all the attractions had opened up and allowed people to come in and they got a passport and they could go around to everything for $1. You paid $1 for the passport and you could go to everything. Well, when the pandemic happened, a lot of those attractions were struggling. And for us to say to them to open up for an entire day to make no revenue, it just wasn't conducive. And also, we want people to go to our attractions all the time. So we've really evolved the Be a Tourist in Your Own Town to our Love Lansing Like a Local campaign, which is a passport. So we have a QR code, or you can sign up for it on our website, and it's a passport it's an experience pass. So it's all of the attractions in the area, and you can check in at each of them as you go to the different places and get points and get cool, fun swag from us. So it's hats, it's Choose Lansing socks, it's Choose Lansing mugs and cups and coffee. We have a coffee decanter. Like, we have all kinds of cool different things that you can get the more points you get. And you don't have to go to every single attraction to be able to get those points, because it's also for visitors that come here. And a visitor is not going to be able to have time to go to 60 attractions throughout their visit here. We also have a craft beverage pass too. So, Grand Rapids always touts themselves as beer city. Well, we have a ton of craft beverage places in the Lansing area too. So we have a pass specifically for them. I think there's about 26 right now, maybe 24 that are on the pass. There's a few that are not. And then, you can go to those. And we definitely don't want you to go to all those in one day, because that would be bad. But go to a few a day, couple of them, and then you can get a cool beer mug from us and stickers and different types of swag. So both those are on our website, and that's how we're encouraging our local residents as well as our visitors to go to our attractions, is going and trying out the different places. And we've got cool things on there. We've got cool things in this town.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Spare time
Love-
on it. Love the spare time.
Oh my God, and Love Lansing Like a Local. Like you said, if you're not getting outside, if you're in the Ingham, Eaton, Clinton, any of our areas, right? If you're not getting out and seeing it, you're going to miss out on a lot of fun, amazing things. What, in your opinion, or maybe you have stats to provide, what's the most requested fun thing to do or attraction that you get from people coming in from town?
We do. It is kind of this one kind of gets at me, because our top attraction that we see from our visitor data is Horrocks. And Horrocks is a destination in and of itself. It's a store in which you can go and have a cocktail in their beer garden. You can shop around with your cocktail. You can shop around and get everything from pizza to macaroons to gelato to candy and popcorn and coffee. And it's a destination. We have multiple hotels around it. So that's one of the top attractions. Also, the Capitol. So downtown Lansing here, a lot of people don't realize that the Capitol is open Monday through Friday from 9 until 4. And you can go in any point in time during those open hours and tour the Capitol. A lot of people think you have to get permission. It's the Capitol, it's in security. I mean, there are 2 security officers that are at the door when you walk in, but go check it out. It's beautiful. They just redid a bunch of the scaffolding, or they just had scaffolding that was covering most of the dome, and they just removed all of that. So it's all back open again. You can see the beautiful glass floor that they have, and on the main floor below the dome, and they put film on the windows and did things so that it will preserve what the paintings that are on the dome. So definitely go check out the Capitol if you've not been in there. It's well worth your time, and you can spend a couple hours in there. And they have the whole new Heritage Hall entrance, so it's a lot easier to get into now, and it's got more of the history, and you can get a guided tour. If there's a guide available, they'll give you a guided tour. If there's not, they'll give you a headset, and you can do a little walking tour with the headset. So very cool. 2 very cool attractions that probably are the most requested from the area. And the biggest requested for the Capitol too is to open up on Saturdays. We're working on that right now.
So as a lifelong resident of this area, what's a hidden gem? What is a hidden gem that you would recommend to our listeners to go check out?
Oh gosh, so I really like Sleepy Hollow State Park is a great hidden gem if you've not been out there. It's out in Langsburg, and it's a beach. It's got riding trails, it's got walking trails, it's got glamping, it's got a little bit of everything that's outdoorsy. And it is a hidden gem. A lot of people don't realize that it is part of our region because it seems so far away. Like we kind of get this little, like, I don't know how to describe it, but you can get pretty much anywhere in the Greater Lansing region within 20 to 35 minutes, depending on where you're at. And we take that for granted because, like, if we lived in Detroit, it would take us 2 hours to get to some of the destinations that we have in our area.
Yeah.
But we can get there in a very short amount of time. With all the construction going on, maybe 10 minutes longer, but it's a great gem that people love. Another one that I really love is Phillips Orchard up in St. John's. St. John's in and of itself, if you haven't been up there, head on up there. There's a lot of great things going on in the St. John's area, and that's where all of our fun outdoor fall activities tend to happen. But Phillips Orchard is just up from Uncle John's Cider Mill, which everybody knows Uncle John's. We love Uncle John's, and that is our top attraction in the fall, by the way. Uncle John's by far beats everyone else in the fall. People are looking for the activities that they have. But they don't have the actual apple picking at Uncle John's. And so if you go to Phillips Orchards, which is literally up around, you take a loop around the corner on 127, go down a dirt road, you can actually pick apples off their tree. So you could go to both of them and have two different experiences. But that's a crowning jewel for our area in Michigan. We have that wonderful fall weather and the different activities, and having those places up in St. John really help.
I like the Phillips cider bar they have in the Frandor area too.
And that's
really
another
good.
little hidden secret, because if you want to have donuts and you want to have cider, but you don't want to drive all the way to St. John's because we're snobby and don't want to go the extra 20 minutes up. We don't have to. You can get it here in Lansing, right in the front.
It's nice. Yeah, they started doing pizza too, which was really good.
Outstanding.
Yeah. So when Elisa was given the little intro earlier, she mentioned something about you've been training people to be, did you call them ambassadors or something?
Yeah.
You had talk a little. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yep. So we have a program here. It's called the Certified Tourism Ambassador Program, or CTA for short. So if you see anybody walking around town and they have a little CTA after their name badge or introduce themselves with that, that's what they are. It's a class that we teach here on site, or we'll go off site to teach as well. And it's to train our frontline hospitality workers. It was set up to train frontline hospitality workers, but it's evolved to being more than just our hospitality workers about the region. So it's a 4-hour class. You get a binder in the mail that has all the history of our region, as well as attractions and different things that people need to know when they're coming to the region. And then you take a 28-question open book, very easy test at the end. Everybody freaks out about the test. You're not getting your MBA, you're getting your CTA. At the end, then you're certified. And then each year after you have taken the class, so you take your class, you're good for the year. The next year you need to get points to keep your certification valid, and then pay a fee. Now it's also hospitality, so the fee is not out of this world. It's $20 to take the class, $10 to renew it, or if you renew a little late, it's $20. But most people renew at that $10 rate. And then you have to hit 50 points worth of attractions each year to renew that. And an attraction is 10 points. So you go to Zap Zone, you go to Saddleback, you go to downtown Lansing, you go to Silver Bells, you go to one of our events. There's your 50 points. It's not difficult to get that. And you can also get points for volunteering and coming to events and reading articles about things happening, reading our newsletters. So it's very, very easy to keep your points. The classes are taught here at our office, and they're usually, we do them, we take the summer off because a lot of people are traveling and not around. But we'll do them usually February through May, June, depending on the time of year. And then we'll pick back up the next classes in September. So we'll have one in September, October, and November. So anybody can do those, and they're fun. Sometimes I teach them. They're the best when I teach them. But we also have other great facilitators that teach them too.
How many certified people do you think we have in the region? Do you know?
We have just over, I think we have about 630 right now.
Wow.
Which is awesome. A huge amount for us. We lost quite a few in the pandemic, but we also have had the program for 13 years. And the longer you're a CTA, you get little pins. So when you're a CTA for 5 years, you get a 5-year pin. If you're a CTA for 10 years, you get a 10-year pin. And we have one more year to get to 15-year pins. because the program has been around for 15 years. And so we actually have like, of the 600, just like it's either like 98 or maybe just over 100 that have been CTAs for 10 years, which is pretty amazing considering what happened with the tourism and hospitality industry, how people just spread out of it during the pandemic.
Lisa, are you a CTA?
I have to check to see if I renewed, but I got to tell you, that was one of my favorite classes because I've been here forever, and the history that I learned sitting through that class was just phenomenal. And I've never left this great town, right? I have been a resident of the Lansing and surrounding area all of my life, but it was well worth going through and just learning about the history. It was cool. It was a good class.
I figured you'd taken that class.
Yeah. Well, Melissa wasn't teaching it, so I might have to re-up and have Melissa.
I remember you taking it. I don't know if you took it with me. Or did you take it virtually? The virtual classes, we don't do those anymore. We do them all in person because we missed out on the virtual side of it. It's just not okay. But yeah, a lot of the people that have taken the class, like I've had some naysayers that have come, like their work has made them, because sometimes the work people require you to take our class, and they come and they're like, I'm not going to learn anything. I've been here my whole life. And they always walk away with a smile on their face. And they're like, I actually did learn something. Yes, I told you. And then I always learn something about the region that I don't know when I teach the classes. But somebody will be like, have you ever heard of this attraction or this thing that's popped out? I'm like, what? No, I have not. I learned in one of the classes, so there's a wedding venue. It's out in Williamston. It's called the Hidden Grove Estate, which is, it used to be Wheatfield Inn, and it was the Sheik's house growing up. So Sheik, the wrestler, the Sheik, it was his man right off of Williamston Road, and it's been completely renovated. And if you've not, you need to, the place is beautiful. Can't even describe it. You can go on and look at their website. It's like walking into Magnolia Farms of Waco, Texas, here in the Greater Lansing area. And it's a wedding venue, but it also has a bed and breakfast tied to it. Very cool place that I didn't know existed until somebody in my CTA class told me about it. And then I went out there and I was like, hey, you should be a member of us because this is what we do. And so they are now. So now we can promote.
Good job. Excellent. You're so good at what you do. Awesome.
This has been great. Yeah, learning about all the things going on in the Lansing area. And I think Lisa said this earlier, but a lot of people are like, there's nothing to do in Lansing. And I'm like, what? I have like too many things to choose from every weekend to do in Lansing. So.
And that's one of the things that we're just getting done working through a new strategic plan for 2025 through 2028, I believe, maybe 2029. And one of our big things is to kind of turn around the region to stop saying there's nothing to do. Like we are our own worst enemies, I think, with a lot of things. And it's probably the same in every area you go to. Like, there's nothing to do. Like people in Detroit complain, there's nothing to do in Detroit. We have lots of things to do. It's like, what do you want to do? What do you like to do? And then finding it out from there. That's what our ambassadors are doing. They're asking those questions like, what do you want to do? Like, you want to eat tacos this weekend? Well, we got these great taco places. We got this one, this one, this one. Which one do you want to go to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. Is there anything that you'd like to share that we have not asked you about?
I don't think so. You kind of covered pretty much, the gamut of what I do.
Yeah. One of the questions that we ask our guests this season, and might be springing this on you, so if you need a minute to think about it, but because we have quite a large listening audience, we like to try to connect our guests with somebody that they might be really wanting to connect with and see if any of our listeners can help with that. So you probably know everybody in Lansing, but if there's somebody in the area or a business or something that you've been really wanting to connect with that you'd like an introduction to that maybe Lisa and I or one of our listeners can help you with, let's throw it out there and see what happens.
Let's see. It's typically restaurants. Any restaurant. I don't even care if you don't know if they're a member or not, because they're probably not.
Right.
That's like the owner of Acapulco. People want always, whenever we post blogs about like great tacos, people talk about his tacos all the time. I've never been able to get in with the owner there, or just any restaurant.
Okay.
general, because it's very hard to pin down owners. And then
Sure.
especially, I don't like to walk into them to try to, because I'm like, I can tell you for a fact, I've walked into a restaurant and I know I'm talking to the owner, and I've asked for the owner because they don't know who I am. And then they're like, he's not available.
Right.
So,
Yep.
they're getting, I mean, an average restaurant probably
Right.
sees 25 different salespeople a day coming into their place. Like, ooh. But, we really are here to help maintain and help make their businesses be stronger and get people that don't know them to come to their restaurant. So they do want to meet with me. They just don't know it.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
So introduction usually helps. So
yeah. So those restaurant owners out there and your favorite watering hole or whatever.
Yeah.
Find out if they're a member.
Watershed isn't a member, and has like, come on.
Oh,
you listening? Come on, come.
Watershed, Acapulco. All right. And all the rest of you, because I can't imagine that it's not worth it for a restaurant to be a member. So
it is.
You can find more information at lansing.org for Choose Lansing. So thank you so much, Melissa, for being on our show. This is
Thanks
great.
for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always fun to see you. Always fun to see you. So, thank you.
And thank you to our listeners for joining us and coming on another adventure with us. We release new episodes every Wednesday. You can find us at zediamedia.com or wherever you listen to your podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. We appreciate you. And as always, go out and make it an adventure.
This is a Zedia Media production.